Every morning, he pulled life from the sea with rough, weathered hands. Every evening, she fought to save lives with steady, gentle ones. They came from two different worlds, and everyone believed those worlds were never meant to meet. But one unexpected rescue changed everything. In a quiet coastal village, a humble fisherman named Daniel lived a simple life. His days began before sunrise and ended when the last fishing boat returned to shore. Just a few miles away, Dr. Emma Carter had recently arrived to lead the village's small hospital. Hoping for a fresh start after leaving the busy city behind, neither of them expected that fate would bring them together. What began as a chance encounter would become a story about courage, sacrifice, and the difficult choice between following your heart and following your dreams. Daniel had spent his entire life on the ocean. His father had been a fisherman, and so had his grandfather. Every wave carried a memory. Every sunrise reminded him why he never wanted to leave the village. Life wasn't easy. Storms destroyed boats. Some days the nets came back nearly empty. Yet Daniel never complained. The people in the village respected him because he always shared what little he had with families who needed help. Everyone knew Daniel as a quiet man with a kind heart. But behind his calm smile was a lonely life. He had never married. The sea had become both his closest friend and his greatest responsibility. That quiet routine was about to change in a way no one could have imagined. Dr. Emma Carter had built a successful career in one of the country's busiest hospitals. She had everything many people dreamed of: respect, recognition, and opportunity. Yet something was missing. After years of exhausting work and personal heartbreak, she accepted a position at the small coastal clinic. Friends thought she was making a terrible mistake. They couldn't understand why someone with such talent would leave the city behind. Emma quickly earned the villagers' trust. She treated everyone with patience, whether they were wealthy business owners or struggling fishermen. She believed every life deserved the same care. One stormy evening, an emergency call came from the harbor. A fishing boat had been caught in dangerous waves, and one fisherman had been seriously injured. For the first time, Emma and Daniel's paths were about to cross, and neither of their lives would ever be the same. The storm had finally calmed, but the harbor was still filled with anxious faces. Daniel helped carry the injured fisherman into the small clinic, refusing to leave until he knew his friend would survive. Inside, Dr. Emma worked with calm precision. Hours passed before she finally stepped out and quietly announced that the fisherman would recover. Daniel thanked her with a simple smile. Emma noticed something different about him. He didn't ask for recognition. He didn't complain about the danger. His only concern had been someone else's life. Over the following weeks, Daniel found reasons to visit the clinic. Sometimes he brought fresh fish for the staff. Other times he delivered supplies from the harbor. Emma always greeted him with the same warm smile. Their conversations started with small talk. Then they became longer. Daniel spoke about the sea. Emma shared stories of the cities she had left behind. Each discovered a world they had never truly understood. Daniel showed Emma hidden beaches where dolphins often appeared at sunrise. Emma introduced Daniel to books and music he had never experienced before. Without realizing it, they were changing each other. Soon, the entire village noticed. Some people smiled whenever they saw them together. Others whispered that a doctor deserved someone with wealth and status, not a fisherman whose future depended on the weather. Daniel heard every rumor. Emma did too. Neither of them said a word, but deep inside, both wondered if everyone else might be right. That question would soon become impossible to ignore. Summer brought a record fishing season. Then, almost overnight, everything changed. A powerful storm swept across the coast. Several boats were badly damaged, including Daniel's. Repairing it would cost more money than he had ever saved. Without his boat, he couldn't fish. Without fishing, he couldn't earn a living. For the first time in his life, Daniel considered leaving the village to work on commercial ships far from home. Emma wanted to help. She quietly offered him financial support. Daniel refused, not because he didn't trust her, because he couldn't bear the thought of becoming someone she had to rescue. The refusal hurt Emma more than she expected. Days passed without them speaking. The silence grew heavier than any storm. Then, another emergency changed everything. Fishing boats sent out a distress call after being trapped by rough seas. Despite having no obligation to go, Daniel joined the rescue crew without hesitation. Emma stood on the shoreline, watching the dark waves crash against the boats disappearing into the storm. For hours, there was no news. Only the sound of wind. Only fear. Only hope. The rescue boat finally appeared on the horizon. One by one, exhausted fishermen stepped onto the dock. The rescued crew had survived. Families rushed forward, embracing their loved ones through tears and relief. But Daniel wasn't among them. Emma's heart sank. Just as panic began to spread, another small boat emerged from the mist. It drifted slowly toward the harbor, battered by the storm. Standing at the bow was Daniel. He was soaked, bruised, and barely able to stand. He had stayed behind to help free a trapped fisherman whose leg had become pinned beneath broken timber. According to the rescue crew, Daniel refused to leave until every last person was safely aboard. As he stepped onto the dock, his legs gave out. Emma ran to him without hesitation. She knelt beside him, checked his pulse, and held his hand as the villagers gathered in silence. Daniel opened his eyes and managed a faint smile. "I'm okay," he whispered. Emma could no longer hide what she felt. With tears in her eyes, she admitted that every day she had spent with him had changed her life. Titles, careers, and social status suddenly seemed meaningless compared to the courage, kindness, and selflessness she saw in him. The harbor fell quiet. Then the villagers, who had once doubted them, began to applaud. In that moment, the distance between a fisherman and a doctor disappeared. There were no labels, only to people who had found each other through compassion and sacrifice. Daniel recovered over the following weeks. With help from the community, his damaged boat was repaired. Fishermen donated materials. Local shopkeepers contributed supplies. Even patients from the clinic offered what they could. Emma chose to remain in the village, not because she had given up her dreams, but because she had discovered a new one. Together, she and Daniel built a life rooted in service. He continued providing food for the community, and she continued caring for its people. Their story became a reminder that love isn't measured by wealth, education, or profession. It's measured by character, trust, and the willingness to stand beside someone when life is at its hardest.